Sandrine Tas dominating and getting something like 6 or 7 European titles, like something ridiculous. I think she said like going into the marathon.
Yeah, she told us when we were on ice in Salt Lake City that it was always difficult in the marathons when you have like that many titles, like 6 titles. Then a lot of people will just look at you and tell you have to pull all the breakaways back, and
you have to make the race.
Make the race because you're the one to beat. And I mean that's also really difficult. Like people like her, they have a lot of pressure, and a lot of the other skaters are just looking at them, and they have to do everything, and it can be difficult sometimes. But she still won 6 times, so it's not difficult enough, I guess.
6 times. I think she also skipped 1 race. If I remember well, I think on the track, a long distance race.
Could be.
Yeah. You cannot say, of course, if she started there, she would have had 7 titles. But I think she was of course, she would have been a real contender for the win.
Yeah.
So she made her choices and got loads of gold medals. So hats off to her.
Yeah, that was super impressive, and she's now heading into the ice season, trying to ice skate a bit with a Belgian project of trying to get a team pursuit to skate the World Cups and eventually Olympics. So maybe she can carry some of that level from inline onto the ice, like a lot of other skaters already done. So on the guys' side at the European Championships, we were missing a few skaters with Bart Swings or Nolan or Erwin. Felix showed up and raced it, but just on the road. Yep. Pachi was really back in shape though after his spring of injuries, and also very much on home turf. I think he felt like. So Pachi was doing some really incredible races, and we also saw the other Spanish, Eusebio Fernandez, with his last championship.
Yeah, I believe it was.
I think so.
Yeah, also on home turf. And how do you feel in the races and with the senior men? How was the level there?
I didn't have any competition before because in Holland it was easy and there were no European Cups. Only Oostende, I think, was the last one. So then it was 2 weeks still until Pamplona. So then before a tournament like that, you need to have the intensity to prepare for the races. So for me it was a big question mark. And when I arrived there, I prepared for it. Like first day, just easy skating. And then I had 2 days before the first road race, I was doing time trials myself. I want to get the intensity in and get to meet the man with the hammer, already have that effort going in the body.
Yeah.
And then the first race was the points race, and to be honest, I cannot really tell you about the level in the pack because I was in front of it and then immediately at the back of the pack again because I braked away in the laps where they didn't give any points, and then I made it until 6 points, and then it was survival mode. So
when you put yourself out there in the beginning of the race, when the race is fastest, you took a great chance, and I think it was the right time to shoot for it as well, because there was a little bit of hesitation, but then they went super fast, and then you get caught quickly because they go fast in the beginning, but then of course it's survival.
And people shouting from the outside, and of course you're going still 40 k's an hour and you cannot tell what the people are saying, but it's just okay, now survive. And then when the final 2 laps are in, I go for the final sprint. I didn't know anything about the points. I didn't know I was still on medal course. And then I only had to pass one French guy, and I think Schmidt, a marathon guy, he was flown in to only race the marathon. He shouted to me, pass him.
Yeah.
And I think at first he was like pointing at Felix.
Yeah.
But I think Felix had 5 points, but it was about the French guy, and I passed him somewhere, I don't know where. But then it was like the longest 3 or 4 minutes in my life, and then the microphone guy, he said like, bronze medal, medalla de bronze, and Casper de Gier. So it was a really nice experience, and I was in the clouds at that moment. It was really nice.
Watching on the live stream as well, we were cheering for you, but we were like, you're gonna have to sprint on the last one. You can't just ease off. And so
I think you didn't see me anymore on the live stream. It was the front of the race, and then I watched it back, of course, and I wasn't on the live stream anymore after the first 6 or 7 laps.
Yeah. But first 6 or 7 laps, that was only Casper de Gier, so...
And also from the Europeans, on the track, I think, that's what I remember. I think the Italian guy, the sprinter, he was really fast.
Duccio Marsili, yeah.
Yeah.
He did really well, yeah.
At World Championships as well, he was one of the skaters who skated really well on the bumpy, slippery track. He
got silver behind Bart in the 1,000 meter.
On the 1,000 meter, yeah, and on the relay...
500 he won, I think?
At Euros, yeah.
Yeah.
At Euros, yeah.
He won sprinting against the French guys. So,
yeah, that's good.
Maybe that's a name to watch for the next
for sure.
Next
He's
couple of years.
Same age like Daniel Nero, like 1 year older than me. So he's also like 23, 24. He's,
I think
super
at
fast.
first he was a long distance guy.
Yeah.
And he moved to sprinting like 2 or 3 years ago.
I remember racing against him, like him and Daniel Nero in the Taiwan in 2015 for all the long distance races, and those two together was
deadly combo.
Pretty tough. Yeah,
so,
they were good.
Give us 2 or 3 more years, and we'll do sprints on Euros.
Yeah,
final.
I don't think it works the other way around. Honestly, I wish I could be a sprinter. I think it hurts less.
Yeah, they say it. You don't have to train as much, but then when they do trainings, of course, the intensity is crazy.
Yeah, I don't like weight training, and I like biking, so maybe
biking,
it's okay.
Yeah.
I love biking.
Yeah, like
there's nothing
discovering new roads.
Nothing like a 5-hour ride on a Sunday and then go home and just empty the
podcast
fridge.
in your ears.
Oh yeah, some podcast in your ears, and then after the nap is amazing.
Yeah.
Oof.
First the food, then the move.
First the food, then the nap, then the shower, then the coffee, and then you wake up and you're
perfect.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so that was a little bit a quick recap of the season up until most of the people, they end their seasons after the last championships, whether it's European Championship or World Championship. There was also some skaters doing the Pan American Games. I think we're not going to talk about that because we don't really have that much insight.
No, to be honest, no.
My girlfriend was racing there. I saw that race. I saw some of the others, but I don't really remember.
Yeah, I think probably Colombia won.
Yeah, and we can say Jota was third, and he's in this podcast, so you can listen to Jota's episode, the one episode 4, I think.
I think that was his main.
Third.
It was his main goal for the season: World Championships and then Pan American Championships. That's the 2 main races, and for them, Pan American Games is super important because of the federations and money funding and everything. So for them, that's super important. And in the same way, at World Championships, you race with 2 skaters from each country. European Championships, you skate with 3 skaters from each country. At the Pan American Games, you only skate with 1 person from each country. So the races are super, intense and small, and not a lot of people. And also Dalia Sobranis as well took a medal there. So you can go back.
She got one of the worlds as well, I think. So she also had a good season.
She's from Guatemala, I think.
From Guatemala, yeah. So
another example of how international the sports is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. That's really good. So just to finish off this recap of the 2019 Inline season with Casper de Gier and Philip Schmidt, we're just going to have this last one, which was a race not too long ago. It was the Berlin Inline Marathon.
Ice Marathon,
yeah. It was...
Felt like it.
For people who didn't see it, it was pouring down, which means that the fastest inline marathon in the world, Berlin Marathon, turned into the most slippery marathon in the world, Berlin Marathon. And what to say? Where to start? Philip?
I don't know. Like the weather forecast showed that it was gonna be 50-50. I guess. Like if it's gonna rain, if it's gonna be dry, and of course,
10 minutes before the start. It was wet on the roads already, but 10 minutes before it just started pouring down.
No, I think when we were at the hotel, I think that was 1.5 hours before.
Yeah.
It was already pouring down, and at that time, the sky was blue. Yeah. And you watch the buienradar, in Dutch we call it. It's the radar which shows all the rain. Yeah. And it was like, it should be raining right now, but the sky is blue. Oh, then maybe we are lucky. Maybe it stays dry. Yeah. And then 10 minutes later, it was like, poof.
Yeah.
No choice. Storm wheels.
Yeah. So everybody put on their storm wheels. The thing that's different this year is everybody's staying on 125s. Yep. So not a lot of people racing on 110s. I think it was almost only Elton de Souza at the front.
Yeah, I think
going
only
on
Elton,
110s. Yeah. Almost everybody else stayed on 125s, whether it be storm or bunt, hardcore. But on that course, it was so slippery for everyone. So here, sitting right now, the three of us, we have a representative of the front group with Casper de Gier.
Yeah.
With which place did you get?
I think 11th.
11th place.
Just out of top 10, so unlucky.
I dropped with 10 kilometers to go or something. I was in the second group with Pachipuela, and I was 21st. And then we have Philip.
Oh, yes. I think I was in the third group, and I was 40-something, I guess.
So we have like a lot of people here watching the race from different places, perspectives.
Oh, we were in the first group. We were together the first 9 kilometers, I guess, and then I got dropped, and you got dropped a little bit later, and Casper.
I had no chance. I got dropped 4 times. The only difference between the first 3 is that I came back. The last one, I never came back.
Yeah, I had the same. I actually got dropped once.
Yeah,
and I think Nolan was pacing. Nolan Bediaf, he was pacing at the front, and then I think together with Alex Cujavante, we were chasing, and it took us 3 kilometers to get back. And they were standing up in front, and we were like, "Okay, now this is the time. Keep on going, keep on going." And we came back. But it's really, if you drop off the peloton and you want to push harder to get back, you slip away even more.
Yeah.
And then you lose all your speed, and you have no chance of coming back.
Yeah. So in the end, the race for normally the Berlin Marathon, it's a fast course, and Bart Swings has won it the last 6 years, which is incredible as well. And he's won it almost all the years, getting away in a breakaway or solo, or even like just a smaller group. But there's always breakaways. Yeah. And for this year, because of the conditions, I think people still try to break away, but it kept together. But it was a small front group coming in. It was only
15, I think.
15 people, yeah, and then a few people like alone who dropped, and then the next group with outside 20. It was an elimination race going really to the end. Like especially the second part, I think we went over the timekeeping halfway point with 25 or 30 guys, and we finished the race with 15. Yeah. So in the last part, there were still 15 guys dropping from the front group. Yeah, me, including you, yeah, and other people. But in the end, it turned out to be a mass sprint, and Bart went on the front early on to chase down a solo breakaway with 1K to go from French skater Jimmy Juliet, I think. Correct, he chased it down, Bart, and continued on to do a long lead out for Felix. But the thing was that Nolan started the sprint first. Felix got on his wheel a little bit, then jumped out of his wheel, and then sprinted to the line with Felix getting like quite a clear win in front of Nolan, also a clear second. And then for the third place, you had a hawk of 3, I think.
Yeah, it was really close,
3 people on the line. With
2 from Rollerblade and one, and Elton.
Yeah, Elton with Ewan Fernandez and Duslang Pedican, I think.
And who got third? It was Elton.
Elton was third, yeah. So the only one on 110, and he got third. But I guess it's good for the sprint to have 110, but for the rest of the race, it's a little bit difficult. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't think it's a big difference going on a straight. No. With 110, you don't have an advantage, I think, with a long straight. But yeah, we can discuss about it like for hours and hours. Yeah, and maybe also for Elton, he's a special guy. He skates in a certain way. Maybe for him. Yeah, the small steps. Maybe it's good for him with smaller wheels. I don't know. Yeah, I think he lives on wheels, so it doesn't matter what the weather conditions will be or what track you put in front of his feet. He will go over it, and he will be in front of the race. That's a guy we didn't mention as well, but he was good all season as well. And he's always, you never know what you're gonna get when he's there. And he's traveling everywhere. I think. He's going for all the races as well. It's crazy. But that's pretty much how we will recap the 2019 inline season for now. For sure, there was a lot more going on, a lot more people. And here at the end, we will finish off with a new segment of the podcast, which we will call The Lead Out and The Block. So for this first time, we need an explanation, I think, Philip. Yeah, it's just a new fun thing we came up with. So you have to come up with a lead out, which is a positive thing, of course. So some situation or some person or organization you want to give a lead out. So it could be like, for example, I want to give Felix Reinen a lead out for winning Berlin Marathon. That's an example. And then a block that's something negative. So someone you want to block, a situation or a federation, and